Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for the opportunity that we're going to present a research article entitled The Effect of TBI Lesson Plan on EFL Pre-Service Teachers TPACK Self-Efficacy. My name is Afif Ikhwanul Muslimin, and I'm the representative of the research group. As we know that technology can be used as scaffold to mediate obstacles during the shift of offline learning to the online learning, especially during the pandemic COVID-19, and as well as the teacher also still can take a benefit to use the technology to mediate their teaching and learning during the post-pandemic situations. It is because the teacher thinks that it can help them to increase students' engagement and also creating more attractive and interesting and also motivating materials for students and make them enjoy more in their learning process. From the student's point of view, technology also can help students to work collaboratively. When the teachers provide students a kind of medium, a learning mediums like LMS, Learning Management System, in Schoology or Edmodo or any other things, or creating a teaching and learning model like collaborative writing using Google Docs that requires students to work collaboratively with others, or any applications like Padlet and any other applications that can be used by teachers to make students work collaboratively. Moreover, technology can improve teachers' professionalism and make them more prepared because in some platforms they provide kind of features that aids teachers to create very wonderful slides, and it has some template that makes teachers easier to prepare their teaching. Therefore, psychologically, teachers' self-efficacy can be influenced by the use of technology in their teaching. One of the framework that underlies ideas to embody technology in teaching and learning process is TPACK. It was popularized by Mr. and Kohler 2006, contains technological pedagogical content knowledge. And it has three main basic parts. They are technology, pedagogy, and content. And contents. And the three main components, they are connected to each other, so they develop bigger subdivisions of TPACK consisting of TPK or technological pedagogical knowledge, and then technological content knowledge, and also pedagogical content knowledge. So here there are two bigger subdivisions of TPACK that discuss about technology, that think technology is correlated to another divisions of TPACK. And according to Kwang Sawat, that good TPACK self-efficacy can affect teachers' successful teaching. Therefore, technology is one of the components that develop TPACK's efficacy, can also contribute more to the teacher's professionalism in their teaching. However, TPACK doesn't provide clear procedure how technology can be integrated in the teaching and learning process. And one of the procedures can be used or can be a model for to integrate technology in teaching is a TBI model introduced by Nis et al. 2007, consisting of 5 steps. The first is recognizing that teachers ask students, lead the students to be familiar with the technology that's going to be used in the teaching and learning process. And the second step is accepting. So the student should be trained to accept the technology going to teaching. Like if the platform asks students to, the platform requests users to register the data. So teachers lead students to log in and create the data. And then the third step is adapting. So teachers, the students to start using the technology, opening the features that observing the features, and then reading some materials that they can find in the applications. And the fourth step is exploring, where students start to use the technology to learn the materials that the teachers students start to compose. If it is writing, students start to compose their writing compositions. And in advancing, teachers ask students to connect this technology with another technology to improve the quality. For example, after students creating a recon compositions in a Wattpad, then students can be asked to share what they have written in the form of link in another social media, or they can post it in WhatsApp status or any other applications that can help them to make it widely spread. And this is a blueprint of a lesson plan, a TBI lesson plan that I share to my students. So it consists of seven parts here. The first is goal, second is language functions, the third is language focus, level, time allotment and preparations, and the steps here. The goal it discusses, it shows the goal of teaching, and the language function here related to, and the steps consist of five, starting from recognizing. Well, the PSC start helps students to recognize the technology use, accepting. PSC start helps students to accept and try to use, register the data for learning. And then adapting, PSC trains students to learn and adapt learning material from the existing resources in the technology. And then exploring, PSC guides students to explore technology features for constructing their compositions or start to learn. And then advancing, PSTs let students to use technology for presenting publicly, comparing, contrasting with others, getting feedback, or even inventing another technology to enhance the quality of their compositions. Due to the benefits of the TBI lesson plan for the teacher's professionalism, therefore, we conducted an experimental study to 23 pre-service teachers in the English department in public university in West Nusa Tenggara, Indonesia. They joined micro-teaching class in the department in the old semester of academic year 2021 and 2022. And the instrument used in the present research were the TPACK Self-Efficacy questionnaire adapted from Kire 2016 and the semi-structured interview that was used to confirm digital quantitative data. And the research procedures consist of three phases. The first is prior to the experiment, that the researcher administered TPACK self-efficacy questionnaire and delivered material and modeling TPI lesson plan. In the WILES experiment, the students or the pre-service teacher, they should develop their lesson plan, and they should perform the teaching and learning process in a micro-teaching class. And after the experiment, the researcher administered TPACK self-efficacy questionnaire to find the difference between prior to treatment and after the treatment, and also to conduct the semi-structured interview to confirm the result of TPACK self-efficacy questionnaire administrations. So this is one of the example. This is a TBI lesson plan model that the researcher shared to the students as a model. And the finding of this research shows that this is the TPACK self-efficacy questionnaire that was shared prior to the experiment. The result shows that the highest score was 3.7, shown by the questions number 2, that this question discussed about PS's ability to communicate through the internet using various online applications. So the students already think that they are confident with their ability to communicate online, whether it is using WhatsApp, email, or Telegram, or Zoom. However, PS's response were low for questions number 5, with the average score is 2 was 2.3. This data pictures PS's unreadiness to use software applications that specifically used for teaching. For example, they in the questionnaire I mentioned about Mentimeter, Wattpad, Kahoot, and etc. And the student considered that their average score average that they are not really sure how to use that and how what's that used for the teaching and learning process. And moreover, based on the categorizations of high and very high score of the questionnaire result, we can see that the TK technological knowledge of students shows quite high. 60% of the participant mentions very high and very high category for technological knowledge, but low in pedagogical knowledge. 40% only mentioning high and very high in pedagogical knowledge, and 80% shows high, very high in content knowledge, but the other in combinations, most of in combinations of the components of TPACK, it shows lower than 50% of participants mentioning high and very high. And the descriptions of the average score here is this one. So the previous graphic shows that the researcher tried to collect how many responses shows high and very high in each components of the TPACK self-efficacy questionnaire. So very high was categorized by the score range from 4.1 till 5 to indicate a very high level of TPACK self-efficacy, and high 3.1 to 4.0 indicate a moderately high level of TPACK self-efficacy, and a moderate one is 2.1 till 3.0, which means that the middle score of the central score of the average score of the self-efficacy is 2.5. Then the findings of the TPACK self-efficacy questionnaires after the treatment, it shows that the average score of the overall questionnaire, the overall responses, was higher than the average score of the questionnaire administrations prior the treatment. So, and 86% of questionnaire items increasing score supported the increase in the average increase in score, unless questions number 10, 11, 12, 31, 32, which remain similar, and these questions discuss about PS's ability to implement various teaching technique, comprehend EFL skill content, master all micro and macro teaching English skills, apply various teaching strategies to teach, and use different teaching method in. So all of them are discussing about pedagogy and content knowledge. To confirm the teachers their responses in the questionnaires. The semi-structured interview was conducted, and the result shows that participant 1 mentioned this lesson plan model obligates me. Participant 1 consider that sometimes students thinks the students need a kind of model or triggering factors that ask them to input something in their teaching, because sometimes without any triggering factor they do not have any initiative, or they just want to stay in a comfort zone of teaching without thinking without providing any attentions to what should I add to my teaching that can enhance my teaching more meaningful and attractive. Participant 5 says that I learned to use many teaching technologies because of the obligations to use TBI lesson plan in a micro teaching class. It forced students to learn many technologies or applications to support their teaching. Therefore, they open the internet and they consider about the applicability of the technology to support the teaching. So they try to mix and match which technology can support my teaching. On the other hand, this lesson plan also asks students to think about the content, because they are a teacher, they are prospective teacher in the future, so they should think about what is the technology. They should be professional by mastering the content of their teaching. And similarly, participant 3 responded that they also learn in detail the application they're going to use for teaching, that it um, helped them to think about the pedagogical um, procedures to deliver their teaching in a micro teaching class. Therefore, from the findings, we can see that TPK affected comparing the high and very high level um, of students' responses in a TPACK self-efficacy from the questionnaires prior and after the administrations of TBI lesson plan, it can be seen that TPK, or technological pedagogical knowledge, contribute more to TPACK self-efficacy. And technology integrations in teaching enables PSTs to mediate challenges during online teaching, such as creating interactive teaching and communicative activities. And the explorations of TK can leverage a teacher's professionalism. And of course, by the integrations of technology, students can mediate the challenges in teaching, like students being passive, lack of engagement, and creating students' creativity, and appreciating students by asking them to share the works widely, and learn to give feedback for others. Nevertheless, some studies claim that PCK was the most influential to TPACK self-efficacy. Therefore, the further investigations on different strategies or method used as treatment to check the effectiveness to TPACK self-efficacy will be worthwhile to conduct. So the conclusions of this research that TPI lesson plan had a positive effect to TPACK self-efficacy. And based on this, and from the finding, it can be seen that what and how the technology can be applied should be the focus, because it helps. What technology can will be used by the teachers influence Focus to master because it influences the success of teaching as it should be matched with the research with the teaching goal. Applied should be the focus to master. And together success. Since technology provide a positive effect to TPACK self-efficacy, so technology plays very important roles to improve teachers' TPACK self-efficacy. Therefore, knowing what and how technology can be applied to support our teaching should be the focus to master by the teacher. And the implications of this research, it offers pedagogical information to apply TBI lesson plan to improve EFL PST's TPACK self-efficacy. And the research procedure can be adopted as well as the TPI lesson plan can be adapted to integrate technology for teaching instructions. Thank you very much for your attention, and you can reach me through this email. You can reach us through this email, or you can directly scan this barcode to contact to reach me. If you have